November 17, 2017, 8:37 p.m. EST. Last updated November 18, 2017, 1:38 p.m. EST. Only 1 month before the Cuban Missile Crisis brought 12 days of fear upon the world, 8 high-ranking U.S. intelligence officials gathered at an undisclosed location to plot their next steps in removing Fidel Castro from power. When these people met on September 14, 1962, the U.S. still had no idea that Russian missiles were stockpiled in Cuba. Operation Mongoose, in which officials schemed to assassinate, discredit or trigger an uprising against the Cuban communist leader, still dominated these meetings. But on this day, General Edward Lansdale, the head of Mongoose, and General Marshall Carter, Deputy Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, didn't pitch National Security Advisor McGeorge Bundy on exploding cigars and Kong shells. Instead, they focused on Canada. General Carter said that CIA would examine the possibilities of sabotaging airplane parts which are scheduled to be shipped from Canada to Cuba, reads a now declassified memorandum about the meeting. Since July, the U.S. National Archives and President Donald Trump have released more than 25,000 secret files relating to John F. Kennedy's time as president and his assassination. The memorandum from the 1962 meeting reveals for the first time that the CIA was floating the idea of taking action against Canada. No approval was given at this meeting, where Carter also asked Bundy to increase intelligence on Canada because of its reporting funding of subversive elements in Ecuador and possibly elsewhere, according to the memorandum. Bundy made it abundantly clear that sensitive ideas involving sabotage would have to be presented in more detail and decided case by case. This would have constituted a violation of Canadian sovereignty, but that shouldn't surprise anyone, said Arnie Kislenko, a Ryerson University professor who teaches the history of espionage and once handled national security matters as a Canada immigration officer for 12 years. This is an agency which has undermined numerous countries. While it's still unknown how the group reacted to CIA Deputy Director Carter's idea, other sparse mentions of Canada in the JFK archives reveal that the CIA constantly kept one eye on Canada's relationship with Cuba. And with good reason after it learned that an alleged Castro crony was operating in Toronto's underbelly. The sabotage mooted in the declassified memo, Kislenko said, could include anything from substituting the spare airplane parts for faulty ones to starting a fire at the factory where they were made. Canada's relationship with the U.S. was tense leading up to the missile crisis, but it was unlikely the CIA would have risked an operation on Canadian soil when it's just so much easier to have a ship blown up at sea, Kislenko said. Obviously the Americans were sufficiently pissed off and, logically following from that, if they didn't resolve the matter through other means, diplomatic and friendly persuasion, then you always reserve the right to blow shit up. The U.S.